I'll pass it around. What's left of it, I had some stuff soldered to it, but I don't know, I thought for 40 bucks this little board did an awful lot. So I'll let you. But that they still sell it. I thought it was a bargain. They had some fairly decent support on their forum, which worked pretty good. But this seems like I didn't get the best because I never did get my rain totals to show up on one of the websites. But I think the reason why I wasn't getting it because they recently, this says here as of July 31st, you know, the orders are shipping. So this is a brand new unit that they have out there. I didn't go through all the features, what you get over this, over that, but I can tell you there's quite a bit there. My guess is they were probably trying to compete with this Polish company, which sells this unit right here. Anyway, they do sell this in the States, but anyway, it's WX3-in-1. I did read up quite a bit at this at one time. I never did purchase it, but it takes an input directly from my weather station. Plus, it also acts as it can act as an advanced digipeater, which it says here, and an eye gate. Now, the difference between those two, a digipeater, what it does is it's just going to repeat it, hoping that another APRS station is going to go grab it, hopefully another digipate it on. But eventually, it'll eventually get onto the internet, which is what the eye gate does. And I'll show you the eye gates that my weather station goes into for my unit. Now, after my lightning strike, I picked up a Bionics. Let's see, how do you get Tiny Track 3 Plus. So that's the little guy that's running on mine, and it's really not much bigger than that one that's passing around. Although this one here only sends the data out. It does not act as a digipeater at all, which I kind of wanted a little bit to help out with the APRS. But anyway, it works fine with the weather. Although you have to, as they tell right here, you got to put some special firmware for it to read the weather station information. So, but it seems like a lot of these, like the Pete Brothers, which is one of the reasons why I got it, but there is some support for Davis. I know I've seen it, yeah, right here, Tiny Tap firmware configuration. Yeah. From a Davis station with the WeatherLink APRS adapter. But you have to get that to work with the Davis, which I don't know anything about because I don't have any information.
Davis sends with their TNC sends directly.
Well, this is going out APRS, which is going out RF. Yours may go directly to the internet.
Yes.
Me being a stubborn old ham, I wanted mine going out RF before it hit the internet.
Well, TNC is just the modem, basically, and the APRS is embedded in the X25 packets. Each port feeds the radio.
Correct. So, and then the other one that's out there, I used to have one, a very old model, but I sold it because it was really outdated, which is Cantronics, probably the KPC3 here. If you're going to get it to there. Here they explain everything about it, but there's the KPC3 right there. But I also have this is one of our is it W8GKB? This is part of his equipment that he had. I saved this. This is a Cantronics Cam Plus. The Cam Plus at the time interfaced VHF and HF. So I kind of saved this because I would kind of like, at the new Station 720, hopefully this is capable of WinLink. WinLink is a pretty much HF only, I believe. Well, I can't say that because they have that on the network.
Yeah, I think you can run it on HF and I can't remember if it's VHF and.
But it's mainly known to get out on HF. I know I've read that a lot of sailors that are up on their boats and they have an amateur radio license and they don't have internet, they'll do WinLink with something like this over HF to get their emails out. So that's kind of neat. But you know, if we ever had, you know, something bad happen here, I would like to have an WinLink set up at this, you know, Station 720, the new one, have that working. But that's the reason why I kind of saved that from being sold, because I think it's still usable. And Cantronics obviously is still in business and still selling their equipment. It's just that, you know, everybody else like come out with something less expensive.
Is that firmware or software upgradable?
Probably, it probably uses a Z80, the old Z80 based stuff.
My guess is it's probably firmware. The one I had, you had to get the chips,
Plug in a chip?
plug it in.
Because Camtronics make their chips.
But like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It may not be any good, but
Nothing better, nothing good.
exactly. One of the other projects. So those are the big ones for the terminal node controllers. I know Ed has put one together on his Raspberry Pi, so you have that option as well.
Well, and that's using a RTL SDR dongle, and it's a receive only iGate. It doesn't transmit.
Back it. I got what it is. Okay, so this right here is APRS.FI, and it is set up for secure. I don't know why it didn't come up before, but anyway. This is our area, and as you can see, you got K8 ANU. For some reason, I haven't been picked up by in over 12 hours, but anyway, I would be about right here.
You can change the time under show last.
Okay, there I am. So APRS.FI, when you do it on the PC, it acts differently. They have apps for the iPhone. They have it for the Android?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they do. They act differently, but when you're on a PC, when I hover over my station, the last, that little green line that goes over to WB8 VSU-10 over there in cable, that's where I transmitted my signal, and WB8 VSU-10 is a iGate. So I sent that information from my weather station to there, and then it got on the internet. And then that's when it populates on this this map. Now you're also going to see N8IG-2, K8LVZ, and just for your information, W8ILD, they have K8JWL on here. So I know you're working on fixing that, but anyway, these right here happen to be, if you click on these, it tells you the open spot, what frequency they're on. So that's the DMR open spots are on here. Now these other weather stations, They have the FW and EW. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe these are just standard weather stations that are just transmitted over the internet. And I don't even believe that they're amateur radios. I just think they're citizens weather. What was the old
CWAPs.
But anyway, they subscribe to that, and somehow they get a monitor, which is nothing wrong. But you can, you don't want those, you can actually filter those here. So anyway, back to me. If you click on them myself there and go to info, it brings up a pretty neat page here. It actually tells you that the device here that I'm using, that Bionics WX track, was kind of, and it also tells you the last path, which was the WB8 VSU. Now this gentleman that programs all this, he also goes in and calculates everybody that's near me, and the last time that I heard them. So K8JWL-11, I think that was my DMR radio I was fooling around with. You can see Ed there. Yeah, it looks like he had his phone on there. N8AOK, one of our members, and now here's Ken. It tells you how far. And then the other thing I think is interesting is right here, stations which heard K8JWL-15 directly on the radio. So these are the three I-gates that I mainly send my weather information. And the last time they heard me, and how many miles they are and which direction they were from. So, and you can also tell how many packets I've sent. So it's, you know, a hot race between K8GPS, which is in Canal Winchester, versus this gentleman here that's in Cable, Ohio. And then every now and then, this guy here is in pretty close to downtown Columbus. I've only sent 2 packets, and they've been mainly in the wee hours of the morning. So it looks like 3 a.m. and this is EST. So this is kind of an interesting, and I can also go back, I think September, I was heard by quite a few other stations, which is kind of interesting if you want to know if 2 meters has been up in a certain area. Just go on here and take a look and see all I've heard with my antenna. This is from my QTH. The other things you can do with this, show weather charts, which this stuff is also up on the top here as well. But you go to the weather charts, and you can, you know, say whether you want just 24 hours, which is the 24 hours, 40 hours a week, month, or year. You know, check it out. Now, when you're on the PC, you can go take this little pointer and get the point, and then you look on the temperature and you say that it's 46.3 was the high temperature. And of course, I've got humidity, barometric pressure, the wind direction. The wind, then you have a gust and average speed. The rain will last 1 hour, so I can tell you on this, you know, how much rain I got in an hour. This is the previous 24 hours, what I had as far as rain. And let's see here, and then this is the rain since midnight. So this is the communication on this particular time is 0.02 of an inch. So that's what I had. But unfortunately, this will also tell you, where's that at? Oh, the last weather report was 13 hours and 57 minutes ago. So I've got something going on. Either I'm not making it in the canal from Winchester, or BSU is there or something. But they did that the other night, and I rebooted everything, didn't make a difference. Then later on that day, it just kicked in all on its own. So it just depends. And there aren't a whole lot of, you know, I-gates around, so I got to pick with what I have. And I don't know why I'm not getting into Ed's deal since he's right down the street, so.
Well, it's probably because I have the antenna for it inside,
Yeah, but
and it's not a very big antenna.
yeah. The other thing, the radio that I happen to have this on is an old ICOM. I think it's an ICOM 280, which happened to be my first mobile rig. And it does not have tone on it at all, so I figured this was a good application. It gets used. It only puts out 1 watt or 10 watts. I have it set up for 10 watts, so and I did put it up on my antenna that's on my tower, so I get a little bit better coverage out of that. So, what else can I show you? Raw. This is the raw packet that's actually sent out. I pretty much sent out 2 types. This one right here, which is my coordinates, which are slightly off, but I'm kind of okay with that. It's not exactly at my house, but it's kind of down the street. But gets you in the right direction. And then this right here, this is what's outputted by my Pete Brothers. And you can get on the APRS specification and, you know, figure out what all that is, which I have done, because that's how I figured out my other problem with the other site. So this site, I recommend if you want to go to it, you don't have to have APRS. It's just a simple website. And what I would recommend is if just bring up APRS.fi. The default is somewhere over in Europe. You can put in a call sign and track it, but my thing is just put in your zip code, 430 from, I'm going to put Marysville in here, and it'll send you up on there, and that's what we got. So, oh, I see Ed had his APRS going on in his car, so it showed Ed leaving his house, coming to here.
I just sent my position off my phone.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So it happens pretty quick. And then this guy here, I see him on here, K8JWL. He's a truck driver. He comes in here. So, but yeah, if you highlight over there, it doesn't go there. Chances are he's probably sending that directly over his phone, over the internet directly. If we head over to Bell Fountain, K8JWL, he's heavily into it. Now, if you click on his, see how it tells you. Now, so he's going through the WB8 VSU-10.
Yeah, he's got his runs full time in his Prius.
Right.
And when he drove down to Tennessee a while back and out to DC a while back, he followed the whole way there and back.
So if you click on him, you can see here he's got a little message, driving monitoring 146.52, and actually there was a point in time somebody was following him, and we were talking about him on the repeater, saying, hey, the guy won't answer, and somebody finally decided, hey, call him on Simplex, and he actually answered. So he does monitor 14652. That's no joke, and he'll answer you. So, but yeah, I see him quite a bit on there. And then this K8ZGE, he lives up in
Van Wert.
Is it Van Wert?
Van Wert-ish.
Yeah. He's got a bunch of digi-repeaters up there. So, and then this is W8FTV, which is the Champaign Logan Club. I'm assuming that's on the Campbell Hill. So.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on this website? You can just certainly go there. Go to aprs.fi is all you really need. You can
Takes
get
them
on
a
there
while
and
to
take a look at it.
update.
What's that?
Takes them a while to update, doesn't it?
No, it's pretty quick.
I mean, I've had the call sign changed on that for
What do you do? And put your
months.
zip
Yeah.
code in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can put your zip code in, and it'll pull up, you know, the area for the zip code.
When did we?
Or if you put like Ohio in, it'll show the whole state, and you can zoom in and pan around.
So that's that website.
Go. Hey Joe, go to our club website. There's a link, I had a link on there that'll show APRS 2-meter propagation. I forget what the URL is.
Where are we going?
Click on ham information. Yeah, click on that. And scroll down. I gotta find it in the list. Keep going down. See the APRS dot Mountain Lake toward the bottom? Yeah. Oh, it's not up now. It,
Yeah, the donation page about that.
yeah.
You're trying to give us a hint there, Ed?
Click on map under development, see if that'll take us anyplace. Oh, that must not be working then. Before you would click on it and it would show APRS propagation. And you could get an idea, you know, where the band was open and stuff.
Map under development.
Yeah, I'm wondering if if they're using a different, oh, they're going to be using OpenStreetMap. That's why. Instead of Google Maps, before it would come up to it with a Google map.
Oh, I saw in here. Think it'll come up under Chrome? No?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm wondering if they were getting too many hits on Google Map where they needed to subscribe to it or something.
Okay. So that's APRSFI. The other site that I use, but since it's now 14 hours since I've last done anything, but this was what nice little snapshot of what I had on here 14 hours ago. So it was 33 degrees dew point. Now I will say once you get to 32, this changes into a chill.
Wind chill.
Wind chill. Exactly. It was the wind chill.
Shows little man shaky.
But the yeah, the other thing I kind of like about it is if you go into here, you can back out this English, put in metric, then it'll put it in metric, which I think is awfully handy if you're on HF and you got a QSO with some Canadian or European. You can talk on our language of you know what the temperature is here in their language,
Right.
not language, but in their measurement. So I think that's kind of neat. Let's see here, because there's some nice things on. Let's try putting in K8JWL. Send my call. That's right. So here's, now let's put this back to English so we can. So this is what is going out in Bell Fountain. Now when he transmitted something 3 minutes ago, so this was his last transmission. But here you can also go to 24-hour graphs and you pretty much have the same type of graphs. You can see what his, this is a combo graph which shows the wind direction up here. And then of course the wind speed looks like it's all under 5 miles an hour. And unfortunately you can't blow these things up, but must not have been a whole lot of wind in the last few hours, but it'll show you the wind distribution the last 2 hours, and this is what he's got in the last 24. Now, if it gets windier, these lines get a little bit longer, which is kind of interesting.
Does it tell you what kind of equipment he has?
It would on this one. So he's using WX 3.82 Accurite. So my guess is he's got an Accurite weather station. WX is a program. I've used it before. I want to get it back running because it has a lot of neat stuff, but it's a Linux program.
It's written, I think it's written in Python.
Python.
It'll run on anything.
Yeah.
It'll run Python.
So he's using WX to send everything out, and it looks like he's just going out TCP, so over the internet. Weather data. It's actually, this is the raw weather data, which I showed you before on the other. This guy here, if you hit the weather data, it just takes it out, puts it in a nice little graph here, which you can scroll up. But this guy, he tells you everything's in UTC, which would be kind of nice to switch it back and forth, but that's the way he sets it up. That's the other things you can go through, and nearby APRS activity. That's the same thing as what the other website kind of did. But you can kind of click around on here and everything. And they also do have a radar map here, so it's kind of handy. But this guy hasn't done anything with this website since 2014. But he still has it up and running for the hams that want to use it. But my thing is, I just like that nice, quick, and you can do all kinds of things with it. He's got, if you go to options for the panel CGI, he's got all kinds of things you could change on there if you so want to fool around with it. So, but that's all I got on the APRS as far as the weather's concerned, and that's what I'm doing.
Very good. Can you run it both? Internet and APRS?
You can do both of them in the internet. APRS, you can put on the program you have, you can send it to Weather Underground. It's all what you want to do. Like I said, I was just kind of, being I am, I want to go out RF. So I gave it a try.
Require another antenna.
Yeah, dedicated antenna. That's why I was kind of looking for a X switch, because I want to be able to just flip one switch and be able to switch the antennas and the radios at the same time. So the APRS is always going out something. But right now it's just unplug and plug is what I got going on. So that's what I deal with or fool around with, had fun with the weather, which is kind of handy because wherever I'm at, I just bring it up on my cell phone, providing that somebody picks me up.
Interesting.
Put an eye gate.
I may.
You will eventually.
Yeah,
Is there any analysis software that can sort of crudely look at the changes and be able to tell you, for instance, obvious when barometric pressure drops, something's about to happen. Something a little bit more sophisticated that might possibly learn about your local weather and be able to say, oh, I saw this before. You're about to have a storm.
This WX is what I think will do it. I had this running for a while, but I don't. But it's on my list to get going. But
So
And like John said, it's written in Python.
All you need is like 5 computers and 8 antennas, you can do all of it, so that's the problem.
So here,
Sounds like the project for the new station 720.
yeah, this gives you a little bit more, a lot more detail. You know, like I said, since midnight, give you the high temp and low temp and at what time, the wind chill, heat index, and at what time, humidity, dew point. So this is a really neat program, and it's free. Then he also has the nice graphs that you can bring up. So this guy's done a real nice job with his, and then there's a lot of things that you can change in it to put what you want on it. But you got to be pretty technical and know that Python. But he's got a very well-written manual. If you want to tinker around with it, it's there. You can do it. So this would probably get you where you want to be. My goal is to have something like this to put up on the mesh network. So go to my site and see what's actually going down very granularly on that.
Well, once the mesh network's up, it'll just be a TCP/IP link.
Right.
From wherever to wherever.
But that would be my goal once I get my node up on the mesh. That's what I will advertise that I have is weather info. That's the goal. I'm glad you brought that up. You brought up the WX. And he's got a, let's see here. These are all the weather stations that he supports. So he's got the APRS, he's the Argent Data, Davis. He's got 2, but usually he's like everybody else, doesn't really keep it up, but I'm sure Davis uses the same data format, so if there's anything new out there, they do. So, I even have Heathkit.
Hey, Trevor.
So if you got a Heathkit weather station, you can. And the only one I haven't seen is Capricorn on here, which is pretty on there, but let's see here. Here's my Pete Brothers stuff. So I started off with the very small Pete Brothers, because the thing I like about Pete Brothers is you can buy it a piece at a time, but really, if you were to buy it all at one time, the Davis is a pretty good, looks pretty economical compared to.
Of the ones I've looked at, that Davis Vantage Pro 2 seems to be the way to go these days.
And they have on here the RTL SDR. This is turned out this would be the input to get it on the internet. I think is the reason why they have that on here. So this guy has updated at least this. So he's got a lot of neat stuff on here. But you can dig into it, get pretty deep if you want to. But back on my Pete Brothers, I had to start somewhere, so that was the least expensive, starting off the small end, and I ended up trading in my stuff. They had a buyback program. So
You run the 800 now?
No, I've got the 2100. I've got the whole nine yards on that, so including indoor humidity. So they don't transmit that part out, but you can just read it on the display what it is.
You wired or?
I'm all wired.
How much something like that, Ron?
You have to ask.
Yeah.
Mucho dinero.
There you go. 2100 is $399.99. But then I started off with the altimeter 100. You can start off with that and then either just buy this because you can put two consoles on it, but I just ended up just turning mine in to get the altimeter.
With a 100 gig of indoor humidity?
No, I think the only one that does the indoor is the 2100. So, like I said, I did it over a 5-year span, a little bit of time, but my total outlay was a lot more than what the Davis is if you were to spend it, but I didn't have that much to spend all at one time.
What's Davis up to now?
Davis?
Pro 2.
Pro 2.
A grand.
I'm not familiar with this site.
Do they have enough buttons to push to get
Yeah, they
there?
do.
Dorms in the area. Study district.
I know a lot of people have Davis and they're really happy with them.
For that price, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, the wrench is $2.
Yeah, go to.
No,
Our planet.
Louis.
Our
Yeah, boo.
Yeah. I know you can get them on about anything.
I'll look it up and get it.
Amazon. Amazon got everything. There we go.
488 to a grand.
Okay, it's the wireless, yeah. So actually Pete's now a little cheaper than Davis.
I just didn't want to deal with the wireless.
Running 150 foot of cable or wireless, you know.
Cable.
Yeah, that's 6250. If it was Davis was $399.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about the same as your Pete.
And I don't know, last Hamfest, Dayton Hamfest, I should say, Pete Brothers was out there. I didn't talk to him too much, but I'd imagine that they have a Dayton Hamfest special.
Did you get the TNC with it, or I mean the software with it?
I don't have any software, I just get the
Well, there's
data.
a module that plugs into a Davis where you can go either with the APRS or direct internet. I just never have found out from them if you can use both.
That I don't know. Most of the people I know that have Davis aren't putting it on an APRS, but Doc, W8NRH, I know has a Davis unit, and he's very happy with it.
Yeah, they're common, it's direct internet connection, so.
Okay, that's it.
Very good. Pete,
Huh?
how high off the ground are you?
30 feet.
30 feet? Yeah, they recommend that one, 38.6 feet.
See, that's the other thing is my my weather vane and cups are about 30 feet, and then my rain gauge is on my porch, so
5
it's
foot?
12 foot off the house, and I've got a walkout basement, so I'm up, 12 foot up in the air. So that's where my rain gauge is at, and then I have my temperature right underneath the porch.
Well, Weather Service says you should put your anemometer at 10 meters, 33 feet, so you're right about where it should
So I'm
be.
close.
Closest you're gonna get for government work.
And it's on my tower. I got it probably 2 foot off, so hopefully the tower's not interfering with it too much. But I can't see mine being real accurate because the way my property sets.
Unless you're
I go down into a
build
creek.
Football field,
I go down to a creek, so I've got trees all the way around me. It's very hard for me to fly a kite at my place because the wind is above me most of the time. So. Well, if you got any questions, ask me anytime. It doesn't have to be tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry.
You're welcome, Steve.
Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, it's on the list.
I'll get you your,
In fact,